their tenure is for like 5 years, what do? They decide upon what percentage of tax revenue should be given to the center and the states, and how the tax revenue should be divided among the states itself. So this is how the things are done by the Finance Commission of India, and they hold the office for a such period which has been specified by President in his order. Sorry, now President in her order. So the members of this Finance Commission, which is a multi-member body, five-member body, they will hold the period specified by the president. Like although it's installed for every 50 year, doesn't mean that they have to run for only 50 years. They are under the pleasure of the president. So it is president who decides like how much time they'll be holding the office, right? So because they are appointed by the president, and she have sole right to authority to uh, uh, execute their tenure. Then who can become the member of this finance commission? So those who have the qualification to be judge of high court, or one who is qualified to be appointed as one. So this is one of the such criteria. It is as such, a person is capable, is qualified to become a judge of high court, or who have already been qualified to be appointed as one, is one of the first criteria. They can become the member of this finance commission. Then second person could be like a person who has specialized knowledge of finance and accounts of the government. Those, this is like the intelligentsia who have expert knowledge. This is an expert field in knowledge of finance and accounts of the government of India, so they can become the member of this finance commission. The another one is who has wide experience in financial matters and in administration, again an expert position, like who have wide range of authority or knowledge or experience in handling the accounts, the finances, and the administration of the government of India, and person who is specialized knowledge of economics. So this is the criteria for becoming the member. Then how do they draw the salaries and allowances of these members? This is also very important. This will install that whether the commission is independent, whether the finance commission is independent in working and executing their duties or not. So the members are provided a full-time or part-time service to the commission. This is again specified by President of India in their orders. So President decides how much tenure they should be working, and also eventually President only decide if they shall be a part-time service, giving part-time service or the full-time service to the commission. Then the salaries and allowances are provided as per the provisions made by the central government. So the salaries are drawn upon the provisions which are specially made by central government. So it is fixed based on the provisions done by the central government. Then every member will be in office for the time period as specified in the order of the president. So president will appoint, she will appoint these members through a presidential order, which will give the provisions, or which will specify whether they are part-timer or full-timer, and how much service they will be getting, and how much uh, time they will be in service, so that they'll give their valuable inputs. And also they are eligible for reappointment. So if a member becomes um, if a person becomes member of the finance commission for this 16th finance commission or 17th finance commission, then there is no restriction that they need not be appointed for the next finance commission. Okay, so there is no restriction on their reappointment, and they can also be disqualified from being a member of commission if they are mentally unsound, they are undischarged, insolvent, convicted of immoral offense, hinders smooth functioning of the commission. So uh, it's like they have been given the presidential order. Their service has been fixed for 5 or so years, or 3 to 5 plus years. That doesn't mean that they are eligible for disqualifications, but they are eligible for disqualification on the note of if they have been not properly functioning, not properly, they don't have the mental capacity to be have or have the knowledge to function as a member, then they have been convicted of some immoral offense, or if they hinders, like if the finance commission is not smoothly or properly functioning, they have been hindering the procedures and the functioning of this commission, then they will be disqualified from being a member of the commission. So now the powers and functions are also drawn upon. Now, like, how do they, what functions and powers does this finance commission have? So it is very interesting that they hold the powers of a civil court as per Civil Procedure Code. No, so they are kind of a civil court in position, like the Finance Commission acts as a civil court when installed in position, and they work or their assessment could be done as per the Civil Procedure Code. So the whatever the powers and the functions are mentioned, or whatever the authorities have been mentioned in the civil CRPC code. So, sorry, Civil Procedure Code. So this all will imply to this Finance Commission because they have been given the functions and the powers of such of a civil court. Now, what do they do? So on inspired on being the engaged in the powers and functions, drawing their powers and functions to be as such that of civil court, now they can summon and enforce attendance of any witness to their house. So they can summon, they can call upon any person, or they can enforce the person to do the work necessary for the commission and of any of the commission, and they can also ask for production of any public record or document from any court or any government office. So, as they have an authority as such of a civil court, the upon summoning the person or the witness should be present, and upon asking for publication of any public record which is open, and any record of from any of the office, then they should be presented with that office they should be presented with that record to the office. So they cannot deny that because they're summoning it under the powers that have been installed upon them as such of civil code. So now civil code purposes of sections 480 and 482 of Code of Criminal Procedure 1899 are implied upon this finance commission. So this could be a very interesting MCQ. Like you can also answer it like the finance commission acts as a civil court and they work as per the civil procedure code. They can summon any of the witness and they can ask for any of the public record or document from any court or office. So this is how the powers are drawn upon or installed upon the Finance Commission of India. Then what are the functions? So what do they do? Like what is their sole purpose for installing this finance commission? So what do they do? So they the distribution of taxes that are collected to be shared between the center and the states. Just like we have said, the tax revenue that will be sent to the center, they will help in distributing such taxes between the center and the states and among the states based on the percentage that they come with. Okay. So even though the best performing states need not be given the highest of the shares, but they will look into the consideration or the criteria on the backwardness and the development programs that to be needed in that particular state. Then allocation of states of their respective shares in collected taxes. So, like this point says that even though you are a best performing state and you have produced with a huge number of revenue, you have produced huge number of revenue to the center, but it doesn't mean that all such revenue will be transferred to your state accounts uh, as such. But this transfer of the amount will be based on the percentage of the certain criteria that will be looked into by the commission, then they will send you the money. So this is how the states have been fighting on the injustice part because in spite of them being the best performing states, they will be given share not up to the mark. So this is how the Finance Commission will distribute the tax revenues that have been collected to the center. Then the powers and functions could be its principles that it should govern the grant in each receipts by center, like out of Consolidated Fund of India. So the grant in aids, let's suppose for any special occasions to the states, if given by the center, they are charged upon Consolidated Fund of India. Okay. So this also it will govern, this will look into like how it is done. The Finance Commission will look into. And also it tries to strengthen the Consolidated Fund of India to supplement the resources of the panchayat and municipalities in the state on the basis of recommendations made by state finance commissions. Now, the Central Finance Commission will look into the devolution of revenues or the tax revenue money that has been paid to it, only up to the states. Now, who will look into this devolution of tax revenues to be to the panchayats or the local self-government? This has to be done by state finance commission. Okay, so state finance commission will look into the resources of panchayats and municipalities in the state on the basis of recommendations made by it. So, and finance commission, interestingly, it will submit its report to the president of India, and the president of India will further place this report in Parliament. Okay. So the Finance Commission will directly submit its report to President of India as because they are appointed by President of India, so their boss, it is their responsibility to submit it to it. So it is further submitted to the House by President of India. Okay. The Finance Commission will give report to President of India, then President of India will put that report in Parliament. Then it plays an advisory role only because the recommendations or the percentage share that they come up with need not be binding on the government. Let's suppose Finance Commission of India will give some suggestions. Will say that this share has to be 60-20, some 28-38 and 58, something like that. But if the central government thinks that this share is not what they needed it to be, then they can change accordingly as per their interest. Okay, so that's why the advices of this commission are only advisory in nature. They are not binding on the government, like it has not to be particularly followed by the government in fulfilling their, what can you say, recommendations. So now it is nowhere laid in the government constitution of India that states have the legal right to receive money that is recommended to be offered by them by the Finance Commission. So that's why the states uh, it is nowhere mentioned that the states will be legally compulsory be receiving the money that is recommended to be offered by the Finance Commission. Let's suppose Finance Commission will offer some other amount of money to be transferred to such states. Let's suppose they have done it on the basis of performance of the states, but now the central government thinks that this is not the percentage that they wanted to be giving to the states, then they will not give that amount. So the states also cannot go to court saying that it is mentioned as such in Finance Commission, but we have not been given that percentage. So, like, it is just advisory in nature, so that's why states also cannot go to court. Then it is quasi judicial in power because it is acting as a court, and it is summoning people. It is summoning it is asking for the product producing of the documents. So that's why it has got powers of a tribunal. Okay, it acts as a court. Then recommendations of Finance Commission over the periods. So let us understand what are the recommendations of Finance Commission over the period. So first, it was established or put up in 1951 under Shri Negoi. So the first chairman of the Finance Commission, and it submitted its report in 1953. So what it has done 55% of the net proceedings of the income taxes shall be assigned by the union to the states. And also the commission had laid down principles that are to be followed by the government of India. Then it recommended specific amounts to be given to certain states such as Bengal, Punjab, Assam during first 5 years, which is 1952 to 57. So this is how the first Finance Commission has come up with its report, and like you can see how the division was done on the basis and the report given by the Finance Commission. Now next comes the second Finance Commission, which is in 1956. So you can see the 5 years gap, right? 1951. This is 1956. This is by Santanam. So the Santanam Committee of Finance Commission, it had led to the increase of net proceedings to the state from 55 to 60, and union territories has to be given the 1% of the share. So this is how the other division has done. Now then, it states that states should be 10% on the basis of collection and 90%. So the percentage of states that they collect the tax revenues are also increased. Then the third finance commission is in 1960. This is headed by A.K. Chanda. So now what it has assessed a independent commission to assess the tax potential of each state, and 80% to be distributed on basis of population, 20% on the basis of collection. So this has come up with another rule or criteria that let's not put 55, 60, 55 or 1% to the UT. Let's do it initially first on the basis of the population. Then let us add more 20% to be given on the basis of the performance of the states in collecting the tax revenues. So then fourth finance commission. So here I'm discussing only the important events that has been done by this finance commission. So there are other events also which have been done by it, but I don't think it is that important, but you have to compulsorily go through your study materials in order to know what other events that they have been done. Then fourth finance commission is headed by Dr. Rajamannar, which is in 1964. Now, what happened in this is the tax sharing and allocation of income tax and union excess duties preference should be given to the states. So the allocation of income tax and union excess duties preference should be given to the states rather than keeping it with the center. Then allotted grant in aid to the states which are in need of assistance. So the grant in aid should be given to the states which are in need of assistance. Means if the states are underperforming and they need to be pushed, then the grant in aid may be given to these states for the better performance or improving their standards. Then fifth finance commission is in 1968 under the chairmanship of Mahavir Tyagi. So now what happens is state share of income should be raised to 75% of union excise duties should be raised to 20%. So this is how from initially 55 to 60, now 60 to 75, and in between it has went from based on the population and performance of the states. So this is how the share or this is how the performance based allocation has been done by the Finance Commission or advised by the Finance Commission. Then the Sixth Finance Commission in 1972 by Brahmananda Reddy, where they have increased the income tax of the state's share in income tax has it to be increased from 75 to 80. So this is another one such increase in giving the upper hand to the state's performances and the eliminating the regional imbalances, the contribution factor was kept as 10%. So initially the contribution that they perform based on the performance of the states, it was said that the 20% should be given to the states which perform better with their revenues. Now, in order to eliminate regional imbalances, because the best performing states have becoming the best performing states overall with the revenues that they have collected and the 20% of which is sent to them, this has created a regional imbalance. Like this has created an imbalance among the states itself. So, in order to control or eliminate that, these Sixth Finance Commission have recommended that the performance based factor should be limited to 10%. Then, out of the net proceedings of the state, of the income tax, 1.79 should be allocated to the union territories. Now, union territory share has increased from 1% to the 1.79%. Then, Seventh Finance Commission, 1977, this is by Shelat. The shares of the states in the net proceedings should be released to 85%, and the union territory should be kept at 2.19%. So these are all recommendations. Again, you should understand these recommendations are non-binding on the central government. The recommendations are non-binding. The government need not follow whatever the commission recommends. So most of the time it would be a clash. And Eighth Finance Commission is in 1982, headed by Y.B. Chavan. So in this, the share of the proceeds of the income tax should be retained at the 85%, but union excise duty should be increased from 40 to 45%. Then Ninth Finance Commission and NKP Salve. So here the 85% of the divisive pool of income tax should be assigned to the states, and the calamity relief fund should be constituted for each state, to which the contribution to be made in the ratio of 75-25 between the states and the center. Now the states, now with the over the calamities, the natural calamities or the floods or the famine have been in picture increasing. This commission has recommended that this should be made, this a fund should be maintained with the share of 75% to be given by the center and 25% to be given by the states. And the loans that are given to the states for drought relief during 1984 to 1989. Then 10th Finance Commission by K.C. Pant. Then here also Commission dropped the collection factor as a criteria for distribution, because how much so ever the states have collected, that much so ever percentage that has to be given back to them. Then 11th Finance Commission by A.M. Khusro in 1990, the tax devolution from the center to the state should not exceed 37.5 of total center's revenue, and this should inclusively the central taxes due to states grant in aids. Then 12th Finance Commission, which is in 2002, Dr. C. Rangarajan, because you can see from 1990 to 2002, it was very unstable governments have formed, and that's why they have not been installed. Because it was very difficult for the government to be in power only. Then which government will install a finance commission, right? So now 12th Finance Commission will has come in 2002 by Rangarajan. Here, the physical deficit for the center and states to be reduced to 3% of the GDP, and the total tax, which is the GDP ratio of both center and states, to be increased to 17.6 of GDP in 2009-10. Then 13th Finance Commission in 2007 by Vijay Kelkar. Here the center and state should implement Model Goods and Services Tax Act. So GST have come into picture now. Then 14th Finance Commission 2013 by Y.V. Reddy, the center supported schemes, tax devolution to the states for 25 to 2020, then 7.5 of the area of the country to cover forest. So they should be maintaining that criteria. And 15th Finance Commission 2017, NK Singh. This is to strengthen cooperative federalism, improve the quality of public spending, and help protect the physical stability. 16th Finance Commission in Arvind, headed by Arvind Panagaria, 2023. So this is how the finance commissions have been evolved over a period. And let us talk about the State Finance Commission. So again, the State Finance Commission was done to do what? To look after the economic conditions of the Panchayat Raj institutions like the local self-government. So Central Finance Commission will look through only the states. Now it is the responsibilities of the state to look through its panchayat system, to look through its local self-governments, the decentralization. So Article 243 talks about Central Finance Commission. Article 280 talks about Central Finance Commission, Article 243 talks about State Finance Commission. Now, what are the powers of the State Finance Commission? What are its functions? They review the economic conditions of the various Panchayat Raj institutions, and they allocate the funds for the Panchayat Raj institutions and the municipal bodies. And they are also transfer the funds that are granted by the central government as recommended by the Central Finance Commission. All these funds also, like, it is the duty of the state to look after it, and also some of the funds that have been devolved to the state by the center, that also should be sent for the panchayat raj institutions. And this state finance commission has powers to determine taxes, tolls, duties, and fees that may be levied up by the Panchayat Raj institutions and the municipal bodies. So these are all the various functions of the State Finance Commission. But if you have seen through the state governments can also divert the funds that have been given to the proper functioning of the Panchayat Raj institutions. So this you can see in recent reports that how the allocations have been transferred and how the Panchayat Raj institutions have been suffering, especially with zero or negative balances where the local sarpanches have had to pay from their pockets for the development or the bringing up upliftment policies, and the government has asked them to put a memo of the bills that they have done, but it has been very delayed. This is an outside study, so the release of memos or release of funds have been delayed so much that the sarpanch or the village heads who have brought up the money at an interest rate were dropped, were into this debt cycle. And you can also see there has been an drastic increase in deaths of the sarpanches or people from the panchayat raj institutions at the local level. That's because they have fallen or got themselves into this uh, debt cycle where they bought up money for the development of their own village administration, because initially the funds have to be given by the center and the state to the panchayat institutions, but this money would be allocated or diverted for the various other infrastructure projects for the capital building and the capital establishments. So this is how the state central finance commission and the state finance commission actually work. Now you can also question that now that the finance commission, central finance commission, have been giving as has been giving uh, such a varied concept or such a varied division of money, then but why do we still see the differences or imbalances? Means as the recommendations are non-binding, the central government can do anything that favors in order to bring up its vote bank politics or in order to favor their country, their states. So that's why most of the times the recommendations given by the finance commission would not be followed by the central government. So, as it is said in the powers itself that their recommendations are non-binding, so there will be no repercussions if not followed. So, this is how you can understand or read finance commission, uh, finance commission today. So, which is finance commission, central finance commission, and the state finance commission. You have to read for their composition, their installment, their composition, powers, functions, and what are the various recommendations that has been given by the certain finance commissions, and their eligibility, their criteria for to be elected as a member of the finance commission, and who appoints them, who can remove them from office, on what conditions they can be removed from the office. All these things you have to understand and remember, and also eventually read what is state finance commission. That is also very important. That could also be seen as a short answer. And finance commission, write about finance commission, could also be seen as a short answer, or if it may be a long answer also, we never know. So, but prepare accordingly. Like if they ask you anything, right from the beginning, like Article 280, President appoints, then they are eligible for reappointment. They're installed for every fifth year, and their tenure is also dependent on the presidential order. Everything is dependent on the presidential order. They'll give their report, submit their report to president. Then president will submit this report further in the parliament. Their recommendations are non-binding, and the 16 or 17 finance commissions installed, they have recommended so and so things. All these things you have to write. And remember the chronological order of the chairmans of the finance commission, because I've seen that as an MCQ question in some of the competitive exams. So if you are truly preparing for that competitive exams, then this chapter is sure short. You have to remember the bullet points. So I think you're all you have all got today's lecture and it is clear for you. Yeah, so I hope you have read yesterday's election commission also. That is also very important. Read finance commission also. And tomorrow we'll be doing, I think, NHRC, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, so these commissions are very important. So write a bullet points or one page notes that will be important for your theory exam and also competitive exams in future. So we'll sign off now, and we'll be back with NHRC, if I'm not wrong, tomorrow, National Human Rights Commission. So yeah, so please go through the lecture if you have not been clear on the YouTube again. So see you all tomorrow.